And now on the line from Sligo is Marleen Duffy, a Medical Reiki Master and teacher with Medical Reiki Ireland. Marleen, welcome to the programme.
Thanks a million, Darren. Delighted to be here.
Okay, cool. Marleen, we'll come back to talk about what Reiki is and the benefits of it in a few minutes. But could you start off by telling our listeners a bit about yourself and how you got involved with Medical Reiki Ireland?
I can. Basically, it started out from where I did training in Medical Reiki. I went to New York to Medical Reiki, to Raven Keys Medical Reiki International, and I trained Medical Reiki there. And it blew my mind in the most blessed way. And I was so taken by it that I came back to Ireland and have since set up Medical Reiki Ireland, and we're affiliated with Medical Reiki International through Raven Keys. And so that's kind of how it all began. So we had our first ever training of Medical Reiki in Ireland this year. We were very excited about that. And we plan to have a lot more training with Medical Reiki and make it available to everybody.
Okay, and before you were attuned to Medical Reiki, were you attuned to the normal Reiki, like?
Yeah, so basically, Reiki is Reiki. It all comes from the same place. There's different types of Reiki, and there's different ways that people teach Reiki, but Reiki is Reiki, a bit like meditation is meditation. There's different ways you can do it. It all comes from Dr. Yusi. But Medical Reiki is for anyone who's already been trained to be a Reiki master, which means you've done the 3 main levels of Reiki, so level 1, level 2, and Reiki mastership. And so once you've done that, and it doesn't matter who you did the training with or where you did the training, it's just that you have had the proper training of the 3 levels of Reiki. And then you can do Medical Reiki training. And what makes Medical Reiki training different is that it is specifically designed for the medical environment. And in fact, a lot of the training is also helping to prepare people to do Reiki in actual operating theatres.
Okay. And do you want to, I assume most of our listeners, or a lot of them, will know what Reiki is, but there could be a small number listening who don't know exactly what is Reiki. Can you just give a bit of an explanation?
Yes, I'll do my best. It's the word Reiki means universal energy, and it's a type of healing, but it's not it's hard to explain, which is why it's had different people, so it makes it hard to understand because it's kind of hard to explain. But basically what it is universal energy, and it's about helping yourself or someone else to tap into their own innate healing ability in their body and to ultimately be able to heal themselves. So what Reiki practitioners do, what we do is we open up to the Reiki energy, we allow that to flow through the channel to somebody else, and that can be distantly or that can be if someone is close to you. Well, now, obviously with the pandemic, we're not doing any of the hands-on healing, but you can send distant Reiki healing as well. And it can be felt then because there's no distance with Reiki. And so for the person receiving the healing, or if you're doing it on yourself, it's awakening that, it's allowing the Reiki to flow through your energy field. And it's about awakening that ability of your body to be able to heal itself. So with Reiki, what we're doing is it's about working with the mind and the body and the spirit. So it's about all aspects of the human body. But ultimately, Reiki is working with your energy. And really what Reiki does, and people joke with me because I'm always saying this, but the healing goes where it's meant to go. That's what it is. And the more open you are to receiving it, the easier it is for the Reiki energy to flow through your body. So sometimes I give people an analogy as if, like, if you've got a plastic bowl, for example, and you hit it a few times and put dents into it, and then you fill that bowl with water. Well, where's the water going to go? It's going to find every single dent, you know. And it's like that with us in our energy field. The Reiki goes in and it just finds where it needs to go. And it's becoming, people are becoming much more aware of Reiki now, I think, than before, because I think people are much more aware that there's more to us than meets the eye, that we are a physical body, but we're also an energetic body, and that there's more to this world than we can actually see with our physical eyes, you know. So Reiki is a really good way of bringing balance and harmony into your life, and a really good way of balancing your energy. And when we're balanced, then we can deal with things better in life, you know. So what I find Reiki does for me is that it helps me deal with difficult situations. It gives me the tools to help with difficult situations. And then when it comes to really good stuff like joy and happiness, I find that from working with Reiki, I don't just experience joy, I experience deep joy. So I'm a big fan of Reiki, obviously, but it can help everyone and anyone. And it doesn't matter what your belief system is. It doesn't matter what your background is, because Reiki is universal, so it's open to everyone. In fact, whatever your belief system, Reiki can enhance that, you know. So it's just a very positive practice. And then anyone that does Reiki practitioners go through training to learn how to work with the energy, how to hold the energy, to help understand the energetic body, so that when they're doing healing with people, that they can help people to understand exactly what's going on. But really what it is allowing this universal energy to flow through you and through somebody else to help them to become balanced and calm and at peace.
Yeah, you referred to something there I was just going to ask you about, because I think it's my experience. Also, I think it has more of an effect, in my experience anyway, on people who are kind of open and that have some amount of belief or faith in a higher power, you know. Like, I've done Reiki I got tuned to Reiki when I was 19, and I don't have a practice of it or anything, and I haven't done it on a huge amount of people, but some of the people I did it on over the years, like, some of them had a kind of blasé attitude before I did the Reiki on them, and then when I did it on them and afterwards, they didn't really kind of appreciate it, or kind of, they're very blasé about it. So I think, like, if you have some, as I said, if you have some amount of belief or faith in a higher power, I think it works more. Do you?
Well, it's like anything. It's really a lot of it is about intention, you know, and so. Yeah, if you're more open to receiving things, then it's easier for the Reiki to flow. However, they've been proving things about energy more and more recently. Now, we haven't actually scientifically proven what Reiki does yet, but they are actually in the middle of doing that in America. They had to put it on pause because of the pandemic. But the Medical Reiki Works team have gotten the money, which I think it was like $80,000 to do this research and to scientifically prove what Reiki does. So I can't wait until that happens. But what they have said is that, yes, the more open you are to it, the better. However, they have done scientific experiments with Reiki, with water, but even just energetically with water. You can look up Dr. Emoto. He did lots of experiments with water, and what he did is he brought water into different labs. And so some of the water he prayed to, some of the water he put on some classical music to, some of the water he shouted at and, you know, sent bad vibes to. Anyway, he did all these experiments, and then what he did was he got the water and he froze the water molecules and looked at them under the microscope. And so anywhere that there was peace and love sent to the water, it actually altered the water, and the water molecules looked like perfect little snowflakes. And anywhere that he shouted at the water or gave bad energy to or gave the intention of bad energy, the water molecules came up as blobs. So the water is just the water. So it was still receiving the good vibes, whether as the man says, you were open to it or not, just for being water. And we're 80% water as human beings. So, I mean, if that's what happens in an experiment with just water, imagine how people shouting at us or how negative energy can affect us, you know. So, yes, being open to it is good, but it's still going to affect you. It's still going to work whether you're 100% open to it or not. But we would definitely say yes, the more open to it, the better. But you don't need to prove these things to people either. I mean, anyone who ever has a Reiki healing is only someone who wants to have a Reiki healing, you know, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. Just like yoga is not everybody's cup of tea. Some people love it, some people it's not their thing, and that is fine because we have choice. But if you are open to Reiki and if you would like to experience it, well then by going to Reiki practitioner and having Reiki, you're already open to it because you're the one who has gone and had it, you know. So yes, you're right, being open to it is better, but it's not actually necessary, you know, if you...
Do you agree that, like, it's, for example, atheists, it's pretty much, like, there's not much chance of convincing atheists to the theory of Reiki, because Reiki is a complementary therapy, but it's kind of, I think the term in the UK is spiritual support complementary therapy. So if you're an atheist, the chances of you agreeing with the theory of Reiki are pretty much nil. You agree with that, do you?
No, I don't at all, because actually Reiki's got nothing to do with religion. Reiki's universal, so it's open to every religion. You see, because Reiki's been so hard to describe, it has been open up to scrutiny, I suppose you could say, like anything that you can't describe. But it's not a religion. It's open to every religion. It's not against or for any particular religion. It's universal. It's love. So it's like love is open to you no matter what your religion is. And so there is a misconception, there has been in the past, connecting religion to Reiki or Reiki against religion or whatever has been said, but that is not factual, that is not truth. There's actually priests and nuns who are Reiki practitioners as well. But it's that Reiki is love, so it doesn't matter what your religion. In fact, I've had people, I've done lots and lots and lots and lots and lots, thousands of Reiki healings. I've been doing Reiki for a long time now, and I've worked with all different types of people, and I've worked with people who openly say to me, I'm an atheist. It doesn't matter, you know. Like I had one man that used to come to me, and he couldn't believe how much he got from Reiki. He was actually blown away by it, because he would have a very scientific mind, and he was kind of like, I can't describe this, but I just feel so much better from it, you know, and I am an atheist, you know, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter. But this man used to climb mountains. He was very into nature and very into the earth and the universe, I suppose you could say. But he just didn't practice a specific religion. But that doesn't matter. Like, you can, for me, to be spiritual is to be inspired. To be in spirit is to be inspired. So by doing anything that makes you inspired, then that's a good thing to do. And for some people it's religion, for some people it's prayer, for some people it's hiking a mountain. But as so long as you have some sort of belief in something that's bigger and greater than us, that's positive, then I think that's where then I think anyone can be open to it. I think where it can be hard is when people have no belief. But in saying that, if people have no belief and believe that there isn't anything else out there, then that's their right to believe that, you know. I would never force any beliefs on anyone. But what I will say about Reiki is that Reiki is love. And so love is open to anybody, whether you're an atheist or not. If you're open to love and you want to receive it, then it can help you. And that's kind of the way I would see it. So yeah, it doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are, or if you have none, you know.
I know Reiki is not a religion and it's open to all, but I'm just saying the theory of it as regards universal life force energy, like Rei, the word Rei from Reiki, Ori-I think it's Japanese for God or higher power, isn't it? I'm just saying that, like, if you don't believe in a higher power, you're probably unlikely going to believe that the theory that there's a higher power directing the energy into your body to where it needs to go, you know?
Well, yeah, so that's that. But atheist is more of a particular religion. So that's what I'm saying. It's not. It doesn't matter if you don't have a particular religion, as long as you believe in something that's greater, as you said yourself, a higher power, and that's what that is. Yeah. So having a belief in something, it doesn't. But what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't have to be. You can be atheist and not have any religious belief, but still believe in a higher power. Like for some people, God, and the word God as well, we have to use kind of loosely. For some people, it's specific religion. For some people, it's a man man with a beard sitting on a cloud. For some people, God is within in your heart. But for some people, God is a flower. And everyone has their own beliefs in God. So we use the word God as the higher energy or the highest good. That's what I like to use. When I say the word God, I mean of the highest good. And when we're doing Reiki, we're working with the highest good. It's all good. So no matter what your belief system is, it is working with the higher good and higher energy. So it doesn't matter if you have a particular religion or not. But if you are religious and you have a particular religion, it can help you strengthen that religion as well, because it's all love, you know?
I interviewed Gillian McNamara, the PRO from Reiki Federation Ireland, a few years ago, and I asked her this question. You don't have to go into it in much detail if you don't want to, but am I right in saying that Reiki is, like, as we said, it's a complementary therapy? So, like, if there's someone comes to go to a Reiki session, receive a treatment, or just does it from a friend, does it on them for a few minutes, am I right in saying that you don't believe in advocating that people shouldn't take prescribed medication or prescribed healthcare procedures and just do Reiki? Like, you don't believe in that, no?
No, absolutely not. Oh my gosh, I don't think anyone should. And that's actually one of the things that, not anyone unless they're a medical doctor. Let me just be very clear about that. Medical doctors are trained and they can diagnose. But if you're not a medical doctor, I would never diagnose, no matter what your therapy is. And that's one of the things that Medical Reiki and Medical Reiki Ireland is about. It's about working with the doctors, and it's about working with the surgeons, and it's about working with the medics, because the work they do is amazing. It is not alternative. It's a complementary medicine. It's a complementary therapy, and so it complements medicine. So, like, for example, if someone broke their arm, I would say to them, go to the doctor, get it put in a cast, but the Reiki can help the healing process. And actually what we're doing with Medical Reiki, and we've been talking with a lot of hospitals and doctors. Now, everything's been kind of put on hold, obviously, with the pandemic, and the doctors are so busy now, and the hospitals are so busy. Everything's been put on hold, but we've been talking to them about bringing Reiki into the hospitals, and so helping the healing process. So, like, if you go onto the Medical Reiki Ireland.ie website, you can see that there's an interview there with Dr. Feldman in the Columbia University Hospital in New York, and he's a surgeon, and he's very, very big into having Reiki in the hospitals, because he's seen the proof. Now, again, they're trying to scientifically prove everything at the moment, but he can say that from his experience, he has seen a significant difference with people who have had Reiki either before surgery, during surgery, and after surgery for those who don't. And his own words are something like, don't quote me exactly, but something like that he sees, it's like the surgery seems to go better. But you see, what's happening with Reiki is that when you're especially if someone's going for surgery, part of your body is in that kind of fight or flight, like you're going for surgery, you're kind of, you're stressed. So the Reiki helps to de-stress the body. It helps the body to stay calm. And so when you're giving Reiki to somebody when they're having surgery, the body is just, it's being constantly reminded energetically that it's okay. And it just tends to help the body to receive it. Now, I am not saying, I can't say anyone that goes for surgery, I can't tell you exactly how it's going to happen or how the Reiki is going to be, because everybody is different. But it can bring the body into a state of calm. A bit like deep breathing can do the same, meditation can do the same. So by having Reiki in the hospitals, one of the big parts of the training actually is about working with the medics. And it's about speaking the language of the medics, and it's about complementing what they're doing, not in any shape or form doing it as an alternative, ever. So the training is all about making sure that you're acting, that the Reiki practitioners are acting at the highest professional level in the hospitals, because you need to, and making sure that you're doing client care and that you are respectful and all those different things that are required in any sort of therapy, So that's a big part of the Medical Reiki training as well. And then hopefully what our plan, our vision would be in the future would be that you could have Medical Reiki in the hospitals. So alongside it doesn't have to be just for surgery. You could be getting chemotherapy. You could be very stressed, but you could have somebody there giving you Reiki, a Medical Reiki master, giving you Reiki while you're getting your chemo, for example, and that would just help you to be de-stressed and help you to take in the chemo the way you need to take in the chemo. So you're working with the medics. Now, we're not there yet, but in America, in a lot of hospitals, they have medical Reiki masters that actually go into the operating theatres with the doctors, and they administer Reiki while the patient is unconscious and having their surgery. And it's getting more and more and more common. And that's what we're trying to do with Medical Reiki Ireland. We're trying to have a team. We have a team, but we're trying to expand and have that open to people if they're going for surgery or if they're going to the hospital, that they can have a medical Reiki master there with them, to basically there with them before, during, and after, and they have any sort of procedure, and it's to help the person. It's to help their body stay calm. It's to help their energy be balanced, and to help them to be the best they can be to receive the surgery or to face what they have to face.
And I was looking at your website, and Reiki is used in a few places in Ireland, as like in healthcare, isn't it, at the moment?
Yes, and thank you for that, because we're working with the Reiki Federation of Ireland, and we've been working on a pilot scheme in the National Maternity Hospital in Dublin, where there's it's a pilot scheme, but we've been volunteering doing Reiki there, and we've had a great success, so much so that the pilot scheme was extended. Now, with the pandemic, everything again has been on hold because we can't go into the hospitals to do it. But it's been great to be able to give people, we've been getting great feedback from people, patients and doctors alike who are in the hospital who receive the Reiki. So again, it's working with the doctors. It's complementing what they're already doing. So, like, somebody is pregnant and stressed or going through a hard time, and the Reiki can help them to be de-stressed, to help them with the pregnancy. And there's lots of other ways that it can help as well. So, yes, and we're talking to other hospitals, but I'm not going to say yes until it's completely kind of out there. But we have been talking. I've been doing a lot of talks, and going into hospitals doing talks. And so people are listening, people are aware. But I'm certainly not pushing this in any shape or form. This is something that we just feel can help the doctors and patients alike, the doctors are there to help you, and that's what we're here to help as well. And it's just to know that there's a team of professional medical Reiki masters that you can have with you in the hospital, But so, yes, we are in the National Maternity Hospital, and actually what's happened now with the pandemic, and you can also see this on the website, medicalreikiireland.ie, there's the Reiki Buddy Scheme, which is something I set up in the first lockdown. And this is where we have over 150 volunteers, Reiki practitioner volunteers from all over the world, who are all volunteering their time to send distant Reiki healing to frontline workers and to patients with COVID-19. I mean, it's taken off. I thought I would have a few people in Ireland, but it's taken off, and it's now worldwide. And you can go onto the website and you can access this for free. Now, we extended that then to actually anyone who really needed Reiki at this time, because obviously there's a lot of stress and people are finding it very hard mentally, physically, in different ways. And so anyone who really needs it and feels stress, who feels it could benefit from having Reiki distantly, they can go onto the website and they can book a time on the timetable, and they can have a Reiki practitioner who will send them Reiki healing. And again, we've been getting great feedback from that as well. So that's one of the other benefits that with Reiki is that you can send the distant Reiki. Distant Reiki is probably the wrong name for it, because there is no distance in Reiki. But what we mean is you can send Reiki to someone even if they aren't physically in the same room as you. Mm-hmm. So the National Maternity Hospital, we have set this up for them. So at the moment, anyone in the National Maternity Hospital, if they want to avail of this service, a patient or a doctor there, it's open to all hospitals and anyone who's in need, they can go on to the Medical Reiki Ireland website and they can book a session,
Okay.
So,
I just have a couple more questions, Marleen. That initiative, the Buddy initiative, that was your initiative, wasn't it? It is your initiative.
I came up with the idea initially, but I did it. I can only do it with the volunteers, and I originally got on to the Reiki Federation of Ireland, asking them if they would come on board as well. And Anne-Marie Creighton, who was the chairperson of the Reiki Federation of Ireland, was great behind it all. And so they had a meeting about it, and they wanted to come on board with us as well. And then Raven Keys of Medical Reiki International got on board as well. So it just ended up spreading. I thought we would have maybe 5 or 10 volunteers, and we now have 150 volunteers. We've got a waiting list of Reiki practitioners, which just touches my heart, to be honest with you, of people that just want to help, and where we can send the Reiki healing to anybody. So anyone who's in need, or in hospitals, and frontline workers particularly, because they're doing such an amazing job. I would just love to see more of them avail of this. Like, all you have to do is you book a session. So say you book it for 10 o'clock your time, Monday morning. Well, then you know that a Reiki practitioner at 10 o'clock is going to send you that distant healing. You could be sitting in your office if you're a doctor and you're really busy, and you could have half an hour or 20 minutes just to sit there, and the Reiki healing will be sent to you at that time. Or if you're a patient in bed, to know at 10 o'clock that this universal energy is going to be channeled to you to help you in this time. It's just so easy and so user-friendly, and it's wonderful because I could not do it. I volunteer on it to send the distant healing, and I've as I say, about 150 other volunteers. So, yeah, so I came up with the idea, but, sorry?
Yeah, fair play to you. Just, I was looking at your website, and there's around 15 places in healthcare in Ireland, isn't there, that do Reiki, isn't there? Like hospices and other places.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah.
Well, actually, there's more places now. I haven't researched, so like, I mean, as in I wouldn't be able to tell you anywhere, but I do know that a lot of places are doing Reiki. I know a lot of the cancer support centres around Ireland have Reiki there as a modality. I myself worked in the Sligo Cancer Support Centre for 6 years where I was doing Reiki there, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. And so there are a lot of places, there are some hospices and hospitals that have Reiki practitioners coming in to do Reiki as well. But what we're trying to do with the medical Reiki is that we're trying to get it to be just part of the norm, I suppose you could say, where people will have this available to them to help. Because you see, I'm going to use surgery again as an example, but like, coming up to the surgery, how your body is, the less stressed your body is, the better. And so Reiki is very good for that. And then during the surgery, obviously, the less stressed your body is, the better. And then afterwards, the healing process afterwards is so important as well. And so by getting Reiki can help to put the body out of a de-stressed state, you know, because without getting into the ins and outs of it, but what can happen with our body is that when we are feeling stressed or in some sort of trauma, the sympathetic nervous system automatically hits in, and that's where your fight or flight comes in. And, you know, it makes your heart beat faster, and it makes you perspire, and, you know, there's different symptoms. That's automatic because your body feels it's either out of fight or flee here. What we try to do, though, with the healing, and even by breathing and meditation, it actually triggers your parasympathetic body, and that is where it tells the body it's, you know, to be calm, you know, and so that's what we're trying to. So by having this for people, if you're in any sort of stress, it just helps the whole body to get back into and to regulate itself. But the key word I will use about Reiki and having Reiki in hospitals is that it helps to bring balance into the body. I'm passionate about it because my own mother lost her life on the operating table when she was 51, and she used to do Reiki. And she asked at the time, the surgeons if she could play some, I think, classical music in the surgery. And at the time, back in the 90s, they kind of, I think they just thought this was a crazy idea. Whereas people are much more aware now that even if you are unconscious in an operating theatre, there's still, your energetic body is still wide awake and alert, as they would say. And everything that goes on in there, if you can have anything that helps to keep your body in peace, you know, well, bring it on. And this is what the medical Reiki is about. It's about helping to keep the body in a state of de-stress, in sometimes what can be very stressful situations. But can I just say, actually, just as well, talking about Reiki, you can have Reiki when you're not stressed too. You can have Reiki when you're feeling good, just to feel better. You know, I do Reiki on myself regularly, and I go and get Reiki regularly, and I just find it makes my whole life so much better.
I won't keep you much longer, Marleen. I won't keep you all day. I heard a long time ago that Reiki is available as a complementary therapy in the NHS in the UK, and I was reading up on this recently and I saw a video on YouTube. Am I right in saying that Reiki is only available in the NHS in cancer care and maybe in hospices, and it's not available in general as an option with, for example, addiction therapy?
I don't know exactly because I haven't done the research, you know, but Reiki is wonderful for everything, for absolutely everything. And it just, because it helps to bring everything into balance. And for any sort of addictions, I would say Reiki is wonderful for that, because addiction is just things out of balance. And so is, I mean, things that happen to us in our life, it's any sort of stress can it's just things being out of balance, you know. Our heads can get out of balance as well. Addictions is out of balance. So what Reiki does is helps to bring things into balance. Now, with Reiki though, we would always recommend at least 3 sessions. You could do it as 6 sessions. You could do it longer, whatever is needed. We would only ever give as much Reiki as needed. But can be great for addictions, yeah. I haven't done the research, so I don't know where it is or isn't currently in the UK. But what I would say is that I do believe that it can help with everything if you allow it to help with everything, you know, because it's all good, as they say, you know. I mean, they say to be an expert in something, you have to have done it, I think, at least 10,000 times. I have done over 10,000 Reiki healings, and I'm saying that just because I'm trying to make the point of I've experienced working with Reiki energy so much, and I've seen how it helps people, and I've seen it from everything, from every scenario. I've seen how it can help. And yes, like what you were saying before, the more open you are to it, the better. It can be better, you know, but it can help with everything if you just allow it. You know, it's just about your well-being, you know.
I find, well, personally with me, like what I love about Reiki is the spiritual kind of side of it. I got into it when I was about 19, and I got tuned to levels 1, 2, and 3. And as I said, I've never had a practice of it, like doing it, but I've done it on a couple of dozen people over the years, just friends or whatever. But it's like it's had a great effect on me mentally and emotionally as well. But like I'm big into spirituality in general, so I think it's really helped me, and even physically, like I still actually smoke cigarettes, but like I used to drink alcohol a lot, and I'm off that 10 years, and I think Reiki helped, you know. But it's true to say that Reiki mightn't necessarily, like, I don't attribute giving up alcohol solely to Reiki, but it makes a big help. So you can't promise any cures or anything, can't you?
No, we can't promise any cures, but it can help in so many different ways, and everybody's different. When they actually prove what Reiki does, then they can probably promise things more, but it is down to the individual, and I suppose it's a bit like everything. Everybody's different. We're all unique and wonderful in our own way. So how, like, I often give the example of massage, you know, like you could have 10 people going to the same massage therapist, and each person will have a different experience. One will tell you it was really wonderful. Somebody else will tell you they didn't like it. Somebody else will tell you it was a real deep massage, and tell you it was a very light massage. And that's because we're all so different. And it's the same with Reiki, and that's why we can't promise cures, because we don't know exactly how each individual is going to how they're going to take it in or how they're going to be with it, you know. But generally speaking, whether your head thinks it or not, if you are open to it, Reiki is all good. And it's like anything. It's like mindfulness has become so popular now because people know it's about helping the mind, because our minds are so overactive. Well, Reiki is like that as well. It works with with all your energy points. And the main energy points we're working with are the 7 chakras, but I'm not even going to get into that. But the main energy points are very, very simple. There's one in your head, and that is where you can overthink, obviously, and with Reiki it can help to balance that energy and help you feel more connected to everything, because sometimes you can feel disconnected. So I'm not going to give, I could talk about Reiki till the cows come home, and I'm not going to give you a whole lesson on it. But basically, I always say it's about trying to keep things real. We're real people, we're human people, and we have good and bad days, and we have good and bad habits. But Reiki can help to keep us in balance, and it can help us have a better life if we allow it. But we certainly don't diagnose, and we certainly don't push it on anyone. I would always say, if you feel like having a Reiki healing, why not try it? You know, and if you like it, then have more. And if you don't, then that's fine. But it is a very positive therapy, and it's all good. You know, it's
Yeah, okay, Marleen, it's been great talking to you, and I'll be talking to you again on Near FM, I hope. But before you go, do you want to tell our listeners anything else about your plans in Medical Reiki Ireland over the next while, leading us into next year?
Well, yeah. I mean, thank you very much, Darren. It's been lovely to talk to you. Well, we have the website medicalreikiireland.ie, and so I do all the training there, all levels of training. If anyone's interested in learning Reiki, you do need to be you need to be a Reiki master in order to do the medical Reiki training, and that is done with Raven Keys from Medical Reiki International, and she is planning to come over to Ireland next year, hopefully, if she can, with the pandemic. If not, we'll be doing it through online. And the Reiki Buddy is there for anyone who's in a hospital, or whether you're a patient, whether you're a frontline worker, and if you're struggling, go to the website medicalreikiireland.ie. There's a link called COVID-19, and you can book a Reiki treatment for yourself to try it out. But this is for people in need who really feel they need it. We also have the website angelworld.ie, just to say, because as part of that, we have a holistic centre based in Sligo as well. And if you go on to angelworld.ie, you can see more about that. But you can get me on email. It's all through the website medicalreikiireland.ie, and we're also going to be doing some retreats next year, just because there's lots of different ways about keeping yourself in a good place, and they're Reiki retreats, specifically Reiki retreats for anyone who's done any levels of Reiki. So that'll all be on the website. But maybe just have a look at the website if anyone's interested. You can see the video there about Dr. Feldman that I was telling you about. And you can read more about Medical Reiki. And again, it's the Irish website. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay, Marleen, that's great.
Thank you.